That is God here, and it's time to talk about ED or Mushoku Tensei. Emotional damage, Aries dysfunction or erectile dysfunction here with Rudy. But all jokes aside, it's a very real thing, and honestly, this episode was much better than last episode in my opinion. They focused a lot more on the internal things with Rudy, everything that he has been going through. I kind of wanted at the start for this depression arc to be shorter, but I'm glad they delved a bit more into it, and this is honestly my favorite episode from the season because it just shows the internal struggles of Rudy, and everything that can go wrong did go wrong for him in this episode. And I really liked Soldat with the way he started our first introduction. I really liked his conversation they had with Rudy last few episodes when he told him why he hates him, and he was probably the best part of this episode for me, Soldat. So anyway, let's get into the episode and talk about it. Now, at the start, it seems like everything was going well for Rudy, mission after mission with Counter Arrow, which I'm glad I was wrong, and we've seen more of them here. They're celebrating another job, things were looking good. Sarah was warming up to him, she liked him, kept snuggling up with him, making conversation. All of the signals were there. She even got jealous of Roxy every time Rudy was talking about her, and just got me thinking, the reunion between Rudy and Roxy is gonna be insane when it finally happens, even more with the scene, the end credit scene that we got in this episode. We're gonna talk about that. And here we see how Sarah wanted more from Rudy, saying she wants a new knife, actually invites him to go shopping, and Rudy realizing he just agreed to a date. Now, I liked how they handled the date part, kind of with the opening showing what they did. They're going out with shopping, spending time together. That was a fun time for both of them, and they buy a knife for her to replace the old one, and even the small moment saying she needs a new breastplate because the old one is tight, and starts putting the moves on Rudy, so to say. But this is where we see a bit of a different Rudy. If it was the old one, honestly, I think he would have just jumped instantly at everything that Sarah was putting down, so to say. But it hit him hard what Ares did to him, breaking his heart, let alone everything else that happened, all of the drama, the pain, the loss, everything, him being very socially inept and awkward, not knowing how to handle people, especially relationship, considering his previous lives, all of the internal pain here, bottling up all of his feelings. And this is why I really liked this episode a lot more. While she was putting the moves on him, she suggests they go back to his room. One of my favorite things in Mushoku Tensei are the inner monologues of Rudy. Now, hearing his thought process, I really liked that quite a lot. He finally agrees, they go in there, she starts thanking him for saving her, and gives him the okay for them to sleep together. Now, it's all looking good, although they censored the episode again. I hope there's gonna be another uncensored episode. I'm assuming it exists. You saw that black bar there, kind of covering almost half of the screen throughout that scene. I don't know if there's an uncensored episode. I hope there is, but yeah, that scene was very censored there, to say the least. Now, Sarah seems like an awesome girl. I'm really sad what happened to her in this episode. We're gonna get to that. But here it hits Rudy that he can't get it up. It's not functioning anymore, and it happens to everybody, right? But no, here in if we just consider how horny he is, how much of a pervert he is, for this to happen to him is probably one of the worst things here. And even more considering Sarah is such an awesome girl, and he actually starts panicking when he realizes, and Sarah becomes more frustrated. Of course, she didn't understood what was happening. She probably thought it was her fault. He didn't have a chance to properly explain it. Of course, she doesn't know everything that happened to him in the past, and she tries to get out of that situation, kind of starts mocking him, saying, hey, I just wanted to do this out of debt for you saving my life, kind of also trying to hide away from her feelings, not telling him in his face. So yeah, that situation just escalated with, not both of them weren't at fault. There just a lot of misunderstandings that happened between them, and it gets even worse later on, which I'm sorry about that, because we see Rudy kind of reverting a bit back to his previous state in episode 1, full on depressed. He gets drunk after that, drowning his sorrows, and here we have my favorite character from season 2, honestly, favorite new character that we have, Soldat, or Soul, comes in, starts mocking Rudy again, but this was my favorite episode in my favorite moment in the episode, and probably season 2, honestly, was more character driven. Of course, we had the action once, the fireball, everything like that, but here Rudy finally snaps. All of the bottle up things, he finally lets it go. He explodes, starts punching Soldat more and more, starts all of the feelings he has been holding on. Why do you hate me? Why am I like this? I keep smiling so people don't hate me. Why does everybody leave me? Just stay with me even if it's a lie. And he has fear of abandonment here quite a lot. And what I liked was how Soldat handled that situation. He let Rudy punch him. He finally realized he kind of went too far with all of the things he put him through here. He finally saw Rudy for who he actually is, a very fragile person here, and this is why we have a bit of a bromance happening between them. After that moment there, he says he's sorry, tries to cheer him up, and actually tells him to vent, tells him, I'm here, I'm gonna listen, tell me what's on your soul here, and tells him to talk normally, stop trying to sound fake, fancy, be yourself, I'm here to listen. And that, even though this guy started as an asshole, even though he probably still is, I really liked him for what he did here. And sometimes you need somebody just to listen to you. Doesn't matter if you were wrong, right, whatever. When something bad happens, it's awesome, it feels great to unwind, to vent to somebody, even though it's a random dude. Talking helps a lot, and more people need to do this, even in real life. And Rudy does just that. Finally tells him pretty much everything there, tells him about Eris, what happened between them, and Soldat tries to give him some advice. Of course, he doesn't know the full situation, which looking at it like an outsider, he had some decent advice that, hey, maybe you screwed up before she left you after that, and Rudy starts blaming himself a bit, even though that situation wasn't his fault. It was entirely on Eris, so to say. She has that inferiority complex. She doesn't see herself at the same level as Rudy, and everything that happened with the way she left there, and I don't think she has any idea how much she hurt him. I'm really curious what's going to happen when Rudy reunites again with Eris, what both of them are going to do, and how much Eris is going to be changed after everything, and even more what kind of a person Rudy is gonna be moving forward with his journey. But that's probably into the future. Yeah, something to look forward here. But here Soldat also tells him, try to fix it, be yourself, and he has an idea here to try and fix his erectile dysfunction. Takes him to a brothel, and this is where we have Elise, which is a very hot girl, and she does her best. She even apparently knows him, or knows of him, because the little girl that Rudy healed back when he was helping the town with the snow, she was Alice's sister. And kind of a small nod here, a small favor that you do can sometimes come back to you, and people take notice of that, even though it's a weird situation here in a random brothel, of course, with this. And this is why I really like kind of the subplot of season 2 right now, with him building up his reputation, everybody pretty much knowing him as Quagmire, Rudius knowing about him, it's spreading everywhere here, which is gonna help him and maybe also cause some problems. You never know, people can get jealous and things like that, but that's gonna be interesting, and even more with the end scene. We're gonna get to that. Now, she tries everything, she does her best, she's very hot, and if it was old Rudy, it definitely would have worked, but unfortunately it doesn't work here. But she kind of figures out at least part of the problem, so to say. Apparently Rudy right now is scared of a woman, or them abandoning him, which kind of makes sense with how things ended with Ares, and suggests maybe to try with a woman that he's not scared of. Now, Rudy's first thought is Roxy, which, yeah, that's probably not gonna work because they haven't met in a long while. He doesn't know how Roxy feels about him. It's not that simple. He admires, he has Roxy on a pedestal. Roxy's probably the one thing that keeps him moving forward, and his search for his mother there. But yeah, that's not gonna be as easy just to have Roxy there to fix the problem here. And they decide to drown their sorrow. Him and Soldat spend the morning and night until closing time there. And Sol actually has some pretty good advice here. Just tells him, take things slow, don't rush. Maybe also referring to Sarah, maybe you rushed into things there. Rudy kind of thinks, no, she was okay. I didn't mean, maybe you rushed for yourself emotionally, maybe you weren't ready. And he has a point. He was definitely not ready for anything close to having another relationship, even a casual one just for sex. He wasn't in the right head space there. But Rudy was still drunk. He didn't really listen to what Soldat was saying there, and he starts kind of getting a bit defensive, so to say, bad talking about Sarah just to make himself feel better. He didn't mean those things he was saying, but unfortunately Sarah and what was Suzanne, I forgot her name for a second there, ears, everything. Soldat was like, enough, just unfortunately, yeah, he kind of hurts her a lot, and I really feel bad about Sarah. I wish they could have had a conversation and understood each other a lot more. I hope they're gonna see them again, because I don't like how things ended between them. Like, it was a really good moment from a writing thing, story, character thing, to have a moment end like this, but also from a personal thing. I want people to get along, and unfortunately he hurt her quite a lot, and he deserved that slap there. But here we see that just pushes him further down the depression hole. She drops that knife they bought together, and just shows she actually cared about him. It wasn't just a death, how she put it at the start of the episode. And he tries to kill himself instantly. He gives up everything, but Soldat saves him, tells him, calm down, don't do this. And I'm really glad Soldat was there, and kind of brings him back, at least far from the suicide aspect, invites him to go with them for this labyrinth they have together, and finally coming to terms and understanding each other even more. And Rudy asking him, why weren't you hating me before this? Why are you inviting me to go with you now? Well, before that I didn't understood you. Right now I understood you. I know what's in your heart. And Rudy decides to go with him, and this is why I hope we're gonna see Sarah and them. Probably nothing more is gonna happen between them, but at least know that it was just a big misunderstanding, to say it. Of course, Rudy, what he did was wrong with the words he said here in that moment, but Also her at the start there with the misunderstanding, she hurt him quite a lot, kind of amplified everything that was going on with Rudy. So yeah, maybe we're gonna see Sarah again, but with Rudy going with Soldat right now, I honestly don't know anyone. Susan telling him, hey, that was too far, and she was correct there. But I'm curious right now what's going to happen with Rudy going with Soldat, this labyrinth. Maybe things are gonna finally get a bit more with the main plot, so to say. And labyrinth kind of sounds serious, even more considering what Kirishika saw. Would Zenith be in this labyrinth? Could that lead to way to Zenith? Because the way that episode ended, when Kirishika looked for Zenith, kind of seemed like this crystalline thing or something where Zenith wasn't a very clear image. And if I remember correctly, there was some sort of dragon or something. I'm gonna put the image here if I can find it. But yeah, seems like we're getting back to the main story. This was pretty much the depression arc, or at least I hope so. And from what I heard from the people that read the source material, 3 episodes kind of make sense. Kind of wanted it to end faster, honestly, but after this episode I'm grateful they took their time a bit with it here. And now we have the end credit scene. If you haven't watched it, go back and do so. We see Elena Liz, the forever horny elf, kind of a bit different with how Rudy was this episode. And would she fix him? I don't know. She's probably way too horny. Even she has more horny levels than normal Rudy, let alone his current state here. She overhears some of the random adventurers talking about Quagmire, Rudius, and she finally found him. And the way she got that information out of them, those guys won the lottery here. I need some time with Elena Liz also, please. She's probably one of the hottest characters in Mushoku Tensei. But yeah, overall this was probably the best episode yet of the season. I'm really curious what you guys thought about it. Let me know in the comments below what you think about Rudy, Sarah, and Counter Arrow, everything that happened here. And do you think we're ever gonna see them? No spoilers if you have read the source material. As always, thank you very much for watching. Remember to like and subscribe, helps me quite a lot, and you guys get the latest episode of the series that I follow. So keep enjoying Mushoku. Make sure to check out the podcast Because Anime. I'm gonna see you again in the next one. Bye bye.